Welcome to Benito Link's Hollister City Council District 3 Candidate Forum. I am Noe Magana, Benito Link Content Manager.
I am Jenny Mendola Arbizu, Benito Link reporter. We are joined by the District 3 candidates, Silas Quintero, Lauretta Avina, Dolores Morales. We are hoping that Matthew Rojas will join us here soon. Scott McPhail canceled earlier today. Candidates will be presented with the questions in a random order. None of the candidates were provided questions in advance.
Candidates, here are a few ground rules. We will warn you 10 seconds before your time is up. At that time, we will show you a colored card. Promptly finish your thought at that moment, or we will thank you and go to the next candidate. The candidates will be given 30 seconds for the introductory statement, a minute and 30 seconds for each question, and a minute for the closing statements. We can get started with a 30 seconds introductions. Lauretta Avina, you will go first. Please go ahead.
I'm Lauretta Avina. I've lived in Hollister for about 32 years. I'm an immigrant from Italy, now citizen. I'm almost trilingual, proud mother of 2 boys. I've been married for almost 34 years. I work at San Benito High School. I'm a guidance technician.
Thank you. Silas Quintero.
Thank you. My name is Silas Quintero, and I was born and raised here in Hollister. Have been able to see the changes that have been going on since Hollister, since I was young. And yeah, extremely grateful for my upbringing here and for a lot of folks that have had an impact on my life. And now I get a chance to raise my family here. My wife and I just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and we have a 9 and a 5-year-old son. And it looks like I just got a blue card, so I'll cut it short.
Dolores Morales, go ahead.
My name is Dolores Morales. I'm a mother of 2 young men. I've worked for Santa Clara County in various capacities, 16 years in mediation and conflict resolution, program manager overseeing $30 million in realignment funds. I'm running for city council because I'm concerned about the community's future. As a leader in various capacities, I'd like to contribute to achieve our community's goals and assure our success. Thank you.
On to question 1, and this is one that came in from the community. And so I'll start with Dolores Morales. What issue is the most important for the city council to address, and how do you plan to address it if elected?
Issues that we have, and that is revenue coming into the city, and which means the available resources we have to actually tackle the issues that we have. There's 2 great documents that are guiding principles for the issues outlined. One is the general plan development, which is happening right now. And the other was, or is, a document that was produced by the Business Council, which addresses a lot of the issues that we have as a result of COVID, businesses, lack of resources, job development, open space. How I plan to tackle these issues is I have 26 years of experience in obtaining funding from $8 million to $30 million in 30 years. I have various partnerships at the state and federal government that will help in terms of just obtaining funding, but also in execution in terms of project management and evaluation that will help once these solutions are implemented. And of course, listening to our communities and stakeholders. Thank you.
So in listening to my constituents while I meet with them as I've been walking around the neighborhood, along with the parents that I meet at San Benito High School, one of the biggest complaints, of course, is our roads within the city and the growth of our community. So you have to understand that we are a body of 5 council members. So one person alone cannot make these changes. We have to work collectively, not just the city, but with the county, because some of these roads do migrate into the county. So I would like to be able to use the existing impact fee funds. City of Hollister is one of the highest impact fees. Basically, we charge about $54,000 per unit of homes, and we do have money for parks, and we do have money to fix our roads. The fact of the matter is that we need to put that money to work. And if we don't use it within about 5 years, that money has to go back to the people. So why are we not using that money? Why is the process of fixing our roads so slow? So that's one of the issues that is very high on my list. and addressing, of course, the growth. The growth, why? Because it's been really impacting the high school. I know because I'm one of those people that schedules our students, our new students that come to our community. So again, it's going to be a collective effort. One person cannot solve all these issues.
You know, I know there's a lot of different things we're facing, but ultimately, I think the best way to encapsulate it would be just quality of life, because that does incorporate, you know, not just the infrastructure and development hot topics, but also in regards to the revenue generating that our city needs, and also the public safety for our law enforcement and the fire department, and supporting them in the duties that they have to provide. Also the homelessness that our city's facing, and I know that there's been some things that are striving to make that better, and also our parks and recreation. Community engagement should be huge, and so those are things that you know, ultimately get summed up in quality of life for us here that call Hollister our home. But yeah, ultimately what I would be doing is getting behind any initiatives that move those things forward and making sure that those funds that we do generate ultimately you know, get put in the right direction.
The second question is for you, Silas. It is also a community question. What is your position on displaying flags at City Hall other than government flags?
Well, I know that there was an ordinance that passed. So my position was that what the policy that was put in place should be followed to the T. I know that I was a part of getting the law enforcement flag raised, and so I collected signatures on that behalf, and you know, was glad to see that you know, it got flown this month. So yeah, I think my stance was, if we put an ordinance in place, let's follow it. And as far as what it's written, I know recently that's changed. And so I know that as far as council members being able to bring forward flags and fly for different groups, I think that the American flag pretty much embodies all of us and it unites us all. And so I think at this point, you know, I'll just follow with what's in place for the rules that they've provided.
Looking at it from two different perspectives. So the first one is, if we're looking to strengthen and recognize the diversity of our community, there's a variety of ways in which we can do that. Different committees, education, incorporating different cultures, and asking our community what that means to them and how they like to see that displayed. So if we're looking at community recognition of various of interest in different groups, that's one way of doing it. If we're looking at being able to look at policy, policy has to be written in such a way to include people. That includes listening to the community, looking at town halls, and then doing a policy that we're actually following that's fair, equal, and follows due process. I am in favor of displaying flags. Again, it's based on the intent, the amount of time that the council spends on it, and that it doesn't divert from city council business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm in full support of displaying the flags, specifically during months. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It's also Hispanic culture, Hispanic American culture, Italian American culture. There's a lot of months that celebrate a lot of diversity. I would have to concur with Dolores and listen to the public, obviously, on what they would like to display. However, I am not in support of any type of religious flags to be flown in a government building. I strongly believe in a separation of state and religion, but I do support flying the flags. I love the representation. We have a wonderful community full of different cultures. We have grown and we have added a lot of different cultures, and I think we should display that. Different beliefs. I'd love to see the military flags up there as well, law enforcement, EMTs, nurses, all of that encompasses our wonderful community.
On to question 3, and Lauretta Avina, back on you again. This is a Benito link question, by the way. What is your plan to bring quality jobs to Hollister?
Well, I'm not a business major, So I'm not going to pretend to know or talk about something that I'm not really qualified. However, we have a wonderful Office of Economic Development, and I would love to be able to sit in with them and discuss what their plans are, share what my ideas might be. Some of the things that I would like to see brought into our community, considering the quality of life, are more family-friendly entertainments. I think I've mentioned this in the past. I'd love to see something like Dave & Buster's come to our community. I know when I was raising my boys, and we were looking for things to do in this community, if you weren't involved in sports or a church community group or something like that, there really wasn't anything to do. So we found ourselves going out of town often. We used to have a bowling alley. That's no longer here. So I would love to be able to bring in businesses that are oriented in such a way to offer families entertainment so that they're not taking their money outside of our community. And I would be doing that in partnership with the Office of Economic Development. I would love to support them as much as we can. Thank you.
I know right now that the city has been doing some really great things surrounding marketing different property around our area to bring in more companies. And so I couldn't speak to exactly all of those efforts. I know that I've heard quite a few, but essentially what I would be doing is diving in to see what those efforts are and how I can get behind them and what impact I can do to move things forward. I know the EDC, they're putting together some really good stuff to market out to different companies. We already had Amazon and some other projects that are already coming forward. So those are all great things. And I would basically just be putting myself out there to see what I can do. I mean, essentially that shovel-ready infrastructure is what we would be doing. And I think we are doing some really great things already for that. So anything I can offer, that's what I would be putting my effort towards.
I think we have to note and recognize that 63.2% of our residents travel outside of San Benito County to work. So that means we have to bring not only jobs, but jobs that actually pay in order for us to live here. And with that, we do have Gavilan College is bringing a satellite remote office campus here. That gives us a great opportunity not only for jobs, but the ability to do apprentice programs, to do great partnerships with not only the corporations, but small businesses. There are a lot of neighboring jurisdictions that have really excellent programs where corporations like Facebook or Google actually help with mentoring and free training programs that give back to the community and small businesses in providing the digital marketing piece and do mentoring for up to a year, and then allows the young person to actually work and have the necessary skill sets and relationships to have a good paying job. Another opportunity would be to bring in the building trades. We know that not only here, but in other areas, if our young people are able to have that as part of Gavilan or any other institution that we bring in, they not only have a good job for here, but they can go anywhere in the world and actually have a good paying job. Thank you.
Question 4 is also a community question. We'll begin with you, Dolores Morales. Amazon was approved without the public really knowing about it. What does this say about Hollister's transparency?
I think that we can do better. The community can be better informed by not only knowing the documents that are out there. We have a lot of projects in the pipeline that the community doesn't know about that will impact their quality of life. So we can do a better job, and we can do a little bit of what like the county does, which is have a public information officer, make sure that we have town hall meetings, make sure we have newsletters for our residents, make sure that we have even booths at the farmers market to just make sure that our residents are aware of what's happening in our community. And not only that, but also to listen so that they can hear and understand, and also create opportunities for them to be involved. So if they want jobs, if they want to be involved in the procurement process, if they want to have a better understanding of what they offer, or if or even if like Amazon wanted to be more involved in the community, how they're able to do so. So there's a lot of opportunities, and I hope that we take advantage of that in the future, and I hope to be a part of that. Thank you.
So I think we can do a better job of being transparent to the public and make these announcements and offer meetings and things like that. However, it's been my past experience and being involved in different venues in this community, whether it was through volunteer or being a board member, that many times I have found this community that they're so busy with work and commuting, it's hard for them to attend a lot of meetings. So I would be more towards mailing information home to make our community aware, or make, if we are going to have a meeting to inform the public, it really needs to be on the weekend. But we do actually need to do a better job of informing our public, holding meetings on the weekend, sending out mailers to inform the public, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's coming to our town. And we, our leaders, really do make more of an effort of getting out to our community, but also understand that our community is busy with their life, and make it so it's a little bit more friendly for them to be involved in this process.
Yeah, well, I think that's definitely the job that we're signing up for, is to make sure that we're getting the information that is big news for our community, and that involves them, is trying to get it out the best way we can. So I'd be looking to partner not only with our county, but our public information officer, and trying to get that information out any which way we can. Definitely like, you know, the social media platforms. I know a lot of people get on there and talk about different things as far as towards our community. So I would see that this is definitely the type of thing that needs to be put out there.
Thank you. Now, this next question is a community question. We'll start with Lauretta Avina. What are the advantages and disadvantages of a charter city? And is Mayor Ignacio Velazquez suitable as the strong mayor as he strives to be?
So I am not really sold on a charter city right now, because a charter city doesn't really have to abide by any state mandates or state laws. As an example, a charter city does not have to go through the competitive bidding process on public works contracts that are over $5,000. They don't even have to pay prevailing wages on public works projects that are over $1,000. And essentially a charter city with a city council, the city council really doesn't have any power or any decision-making abilities. Everything really sits with the mayor. I'm not in favor of that. What's the point of having a city council then if you can't really lead your city collectively? I'm not in favor of it right now. I'm not sold on it. I also don't believe in a strong mayor. And I don't know Mayor Velazquez that well, so, but I do know he's been a mayor for a long time. So maybe it's time for some new blood, I'm not sure. However, I'm not in favor of a strong mayor, because where are the checks and balances of a strong mayor? The mayor, a strong mayor, can appoint and remove departmental heads. He can draft and propose a budget to the city council. He has a veto power. So essentially, we can do whatever we want as a city council, but if the mayor doesn't like it, he can veto that. So I'm not sold on it.
So I know that as far as the charter city question, I think there is some benefits there. There's obviously some pros and cons to it. As far as what I can tell, you know, anything that puts us in the driver's seat for certain things to guide our policies, I think that might be some benefit to looking into further. Ultimately, it goes to the vote of the people, and so I would be open to that. But as far as the second part of your question, I think the way it's worded is specifically towards Ignacio. And at the end of the day, I mean, I'm starting fresh. You know, I want to be able to learn with all public servants. But essentially, the strong mayor system in general, I think there's some pros and cons to that as well. I don't know if that's necessarily, we need to change things the way that we're running our government with the city manager council. But at the same time, I would be open to looking at it further and what that actually means for our city. But yeah, at this point, I don't think I have a firm stance, and it would be interesting to see what the community feels.
So for charter city, the pros is that you have a lot of autonomy. You can do a lot of different things and really meet the needs of your community in a way where you're not significantly impacted. You can also hire and fire department heads if they're not doing their job. In terms of cons, you really need a really strong city manager or a mayor, and it's usually full-time. You have an example of like San Francisco. You have, when you have issues where, let's say, somebody's not doing a good job, and the mayor or the city manager doesn't want to do anything about it, they don't have to. They can keep people who are not doing their job or not doing right by their community or process or doing things legally. So there's been a lot of different organizations that have been trying to adopt these, and a lot of advocacy organizations are against it because of the problems that it has when holding people accountable to do their job. To the next question, and also that if the city doesn't do what they need to do, the state can withhold funds, which is huge when you need resources. Do I feel that Mayor Velazquez is a suitable mayor? No.
Next question is also a community question. I will begin with Silas Quintero. What is your understanding of the state's laws, Hollister's general plan, and local government process in regards to residential development?
That's a good question. I think that right now I have kind of a preliminary understanding, and I know that part of that process is going to be actually getting in and learning some more details from a city council position. But yeah, I think as far as the state laws, I have a good general understanding. The Hollister plan. I would like to learn a lot more. So I think at this point I'm in the learning phase.
I'm just like Silas in a learning mode, and I am expecting to receive some training if I do get elected. What I do understand is that our city has a very interesting way of approving development, and interestingly enough, it does not rest with the shoulders of the city council members. It actually sits with the planning commission. So they are the ones that decide what development, where, etc. They present it to the city council, and whatever is proposed, the city council must approve it. So that's something that I would actually like to see changed. So that's what I would like to look into. And again, learn about the rest when the time comes.
Thank you for that question. I just finished reading the Hollister General Plan Update 2014. They have a great website, hollister2040.org, if anybody wishes to read into that. The general plan is extremely important. It is basically what we need to do, and it's our guiding principles for the next 20 years. It addresses land use, housing, open space, circulation, economic development, public services, infrastructure, emergency preparedness, community health, among a lot of other issues. The state also has passed several Senate bills and legislative mandates that will have an impact and need to be incorporated into the general plan. To say all this is that if someone is interested in doing this job, they really need to not only read, but have an understanding of the legislative mandates, understand and listen to the communities, understand that a lot of things are integrated, such as like SB1, and also have an understanding of how we bring in money.
You will each have 1 minute to expand on any of your answers or tell us why you were qualified to be the District 3 representative. We will begin with Dolores Morales.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm grateful to be a candidate in a community where people truly care for one another. They care about the community and they care about their values. Today we heard a little bit of what the community is anxious about or really cares about in terms of who they want to elect for city council. I want to tell people that are listening to this that I want to be your advocate on the city council. I want to provide our community the opportunity to prosper, and I want to earn your vote so that I can serve on the Hollister City Council and help our community flourish. Thank you.
Thank you, Dolores. Lauretta Avina.
I want to thank you, first of all, for having us here tonight. I have lived here for so many years that I've seen a lot of changes in this community. And one of the things that I would like to do is just bring a fresh voice to the council. I am extremely ethical, I have a strong sense of justice, and what I've seen in the past has not pleased me very much, and so I wanted to be different. And I'm a giver. I want to give back to my community. Do I know everything? Of course not. I don't know everything, but I'm a fast learner, and I do want to make some changes, positive changes, but understand I'm only one person. It takes a collective effort, and that means city working with county. And people that know me know that I get things done. Everything I volunteered for has been very successful. I just want to say thank you to the community of Hollister for their support that I've received so far. And I look forward, if I win, in listening to you and being your advocate.
Thank you. Silas Quintero.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So yeah, essentially what put me in this position and what made me decide to step out and try to serve the public in a bigger capacity is just the fact that, yeah, I'm extremely grateful for the city that I grew up in, the city that I'm raising my family in, and I have my business here in town, and you know my roots go pretty deep here in Hollister. So I'm looking to step out and into public service solely because I care about the community and I feel I can have a positive impact on the things that are going on. Other than that, what gives me the qualifications? I mean, besides being a business owner, I have a professional background in managing a staffing firm. So I collaborate with a lot of the businesses here in Hollister throughout the Monterey Peninsula, not just in workforce needs, but in safety and regulatory compliance issues. So help growing organizations. And yeah, I think I'm very well suited. There's a lot to learn, but I'm excited and look for your guys' support. Anybody who would like to support me to take on this role.
Thank you. Well, this concludes the program. We want to thank all the candidates for participating in Benito Link's Hollister City Council District 3 Candidate Forum. We also want to thank the community for participating and submitting the questions. Good night, everyone.
Good night.